Hi, I'm Charlie Anteby. I'm here with the Charlie in the Morning Show, 27th of June, 2022. It's a Monday. It's raining. It's been raining. I hope everybody had a beautiful summer weekend. These are one of the earlier weekends of the summer. And we've been talking about hobbies, part one, hobbies, part two, but I'm going to jump ahead and jump in between, and I'm going to talk about occupations. I have a banker, he's a good friend of mine, and he's Italian. He works for a Hasidic bank in Lakewood, always asking questions about the Ashkenazim and the Sephardim and Judaism in general, and God bless him, I love him. He's like truly, truly like a son to me, like a brother, whatever you want to call him. I like him a lot. We're good friends. We get together. We don't get together often enough. I wish we got together more. But in any event, the topic came up about the Syrian community and how you would walk into perhaps a Target or a Walmart or one of these stores, and so much of the merchandise that you would see would originate from a Syrian source, a company that was Syrian Jewish owned, a salesman that was a Syrian Jewish guy. So much of it. Like, it seems like a third. Maybe more, maybe less. Nobody has a real figure, but I mean, because if you go department by department, we don't own Johnson & Johnson, and we don't own Maybelline, and we don't own... But we do own cosmetic companies, and we do own accessory companies, and we do own ladies' wear, men's wear, children's wear, socks, and so many, and toys and electronics. And it becomes a nice portion of the activity in those stores is Syrian community generated, what we call the Syrian community. A lot of people would wonder, how is this coming about? Where are we getting this from? How come the Syrian community is so concentrated into that world of consumer products, distribution, chain, wholesale, retail type of activity? How come so many Syrians are doing that? Over the course of the years, how many companies could we think of doing everything from handbags to cabana sets for kids to disposable diapers to everything under the sun? And I says, well, let me give you a little background. A lot of people are not thinking in these terms. They're not aware of these exact facts, and they don't put the two together, so I'm going to put it together for you. I said, when we were in Syria, we were not permitted to be in the sciences. We weren't allowed to be doctors. We weren't allowed to be dentists. We weren't allowed to be biologists. We weren't allowed to be in the pharmaceutical industry. All of that was off limits. It was restricted. We couldn't be there. We also were not allowed to be in the judicial system. We weren't allowed to be lawyers, judges. We weren't allowed to be, of course, politicians. We were Jews living in an Arab land, and there were certain lines we were not allowed to cross. In the meantime, the way things were situated on the map, it was a major hub. Aleppo, Damascus, Syria, there was a lot going through there. People were coming from India, they were bringing tea. People were coming from other countries and other continents, and they were taking tea, and people were bringing cotton, and people were taking cotton. And this was a whole marketplace and a trading place physically for these type of products that were used throughout the world, manufactured in one place and moved to the other. Of course, this is long before airplanes and flying the goods in. And these were boats, and these were docks, and the access was there for the stuff to come in and the stuff to go out. So besides what we were able to produce and get from very nearby countries, we were also getting it and delivering it and selling it and trading it, and a lot of that was going on. And that became, I mean, nature is such that if the animal that was once called a turtle kept going through the forest and the chestnuts kept falling on it, it developed a hard shell. That was the evolution of nature, the evolution of life, is that all these things occurred as needed, as required. Right? If the air became thinner, the lungs became bigger, who the heck knows? I'm not a... But you get the point. You get the point. And therefore, we adapted not only occupationally, but our whole makeup, our whole thinking, our whole brain wave, our whole methodology was merchants. We were merchants. I remember the term often was used 2 generations ago, a generation ago, that when we were in this country, we were all merchants. My father had many friends. One guy sold scarves and accessories. One guy sold toys. One guy sold TV sets, 12-inch black and white TV sets by the container load. One guy sold linens and tablecloths and bed sheets and stuff like that. And one guy sold the handbags, and every guy was in a commodity, a product category, and they were good at it, and they did what they did. And my father was a children's wear manufacturer, and eventually we got into the electronics business, but that was almost a fluke. The children's wear never came out of his blood. It was there till the end. And this is where it dates back to. Today in the United States, so much has changed in 40, 50 years. First of all, what has changed is we have women in the marketplace in abundance, not what we saw 20, 30 years ago. 5% of the women came to the market, to the workplace. Now we have 60%, 65, 75% of the women are in the workplace. And they're coming in with a different mindset altogether. They're coming in with a mindset of what they have always fancied, what they always enjoyed, what they always excelled in, and sometimes not. So you're looking at people in home decorating, in architecture, in design. You're looking at people in, today social media is the biggest thing, and so many people in the food business. And so you have that component, and then you have the expansion because we got let out of Syria. And we no longer had that on top of our head that we couldn't do this, that, and the other thing. So initially we started to see an occasional Syrian Jewish lawyer, a Syrian Jewish doctor, a Syrian Jewish dentist, and we're expanding more into those areas as well. And what I'm going to say to end this topic, which was a little haphazard, all over the place, choppy, because I had a doctor's appointment, I had to come back. I'm starving, I'm waiting to eat my yogurt and my raspberries. So I'm moving fast, and I don't have notes. But what I'm going to say is we need to sit down with our children, and we need to talk to them about career. We need to talk to them about the opportunities available, whether it be writing movies, whether it be child psychologists, whether it be getting involved in government, whether it be running for public office, whether it be I know guys that are very strong on the technology side right now. Really, really brilliant young men that aren't even so young anymore. I could think of quite a few that are quite successful. So the opportunities are much greater than they were for us. We have doom and gloom, and we have good and bad, and we have but all in all, there is one side of this equation that shows promise and hope and a lot of new choices, and those should be investigated. I'm Charlie Anteby. I'm Charlie in the Morning Show. I said quickly at the end of the last episode, we are looking for sponsors. We're looking for a business model, but in the meantime, you could Venmo me, Uncle Charlie Anteby, or you could send me money, Charlie Anteby, P.O. Box 100, Deal, New Jersey 07723. Just over 10 minutes.